Our next wrestler is senior Bryce Bevelacqua, who wrestled 144 pounds this past season. Like Cody, Bryce was coming into the season having to fill some big shoes, not only from a decorated senior from the year before, but also in a weight class at 144 pounds that is usually very loaded and very tough. So it was going to be crucial for Bryce. I told him day one that we were going to need him this year. That if we were going to win the conference, Bryce was going to have to be one of the guys that's going to help lead that. Unfortunately, it didn't start off very good because Bryce was hurt and could not compete in the first couple of weeks of the season as he was recovering from an injury. And luckily, with this, we took our time. Bryce took his time with this. Gotta give trainer Adam a lot of credit. He kept him out until he was basically 100%. Because when Bryce came back, man, was he on fire. He missed about the first month of the season, but he came back really his big showcase was the Jacob Wasco Memorial, the Columbia Invitational. And I know that was a big tournament for him. He was, obviously, like everybody, was very close with Jacob, and he wanted to go out there and perform. Not only because it was in honor of Jacob, but this was his senior year, his last year wrestling in this tournament. He wanted to do well, and he went out there and he put on a show. He took third place, but he wrestled some really tough matches, but had some really good fights. And I think that was the moment, not only for Bryce, but I think for everyone. We were like, oh, yay, this is how good Bryce can be. And we always saw those flashes in the wrestling room, and we always saw those sometimes in matches, but now we're starting to see him consistently. And just like I said with Cody, now we're seeing with Bryce, like now we're not just hoping that he goes out there and wins. Now we're expecting him to go out there and win. I would go out there and be like, Bryce, I expect 6 points out of you, meaning like he was going to get a pin and put 6 points up for the team. Bryce also took sixth place at the Battle for the Belt at Berkshire, and he took second at the LCA tournament, earning him second team all conference. And that was also big because he had a very tough weight class. He had a very tough semifinal match, and I think Bryce was a little nervous going into it, and that was another situation where I was down on the other mat, and I saw the corner of my eye Bryce just get the kid on his back. And I had to like hold myself back from rushing over there. But I saw when he got the pin, I was just like, at that moment when Bryce got that pin, I'm like, that's it. We have this locked up. I knew we had the conference title locked up because getting those many kids in the finals and getting Bryce in there as well, that was enough that I knew it was going to push us over. So that was huge for us. Bryce's performance on the mat, he had 18 wins. And again, he missed about a month and a few others too, because he did have to set out a few others later on. But he missed about a month of the, first beginning of the season. So he still had 18 wins, 11 by pin, 1 major decision, 3 decisions, 20 takedowns, 12 total near falls, 11 reversals, and 14 escapes. Again, it was a very easy decision between him and Cody that they were the most improved wrestlers on the team easily, because we've seen them for 4 years now. We saw what their potential was. And this year, we finally see that come out. And we saw how good of wrestlers both of them could be. And Bryce, especially, he really laid it on the line. He wrestled so tough. For his career, Bryce is a 4-year letterman, earning the Coach's Award. He had 38 wins, 24 pins, 42 takedowns, 30 total near falls, 37 escapes, and he's a 2-time all-conference wrestler with honorable mention in 2021 and second team this year. Bryce is a lot of fun to have around. And, it was, one of the most difficult things as a coach is watching a wrestler wrestle their last match. And, I try to console them as best I can at sectionals or whenever it happens. And with Bryce, I just remember sitting in the hallway with him just in silence. And I think he was okay with what happened. And, you're never okay losing, but you're okay with how his career went, especially this year. Like the improvement he showed and the work that he put in, I think he was satisfied with how everything went. He had a phenomenal season. He was a big reason why this team was conference champions. And I think he was at peace with how good of a job he did. And as I told him so many times, I was so proud of him for everything he did this year and the improvement that he showed. We're going to miss having Bryce in that room. He was a lot of fun to have around. He gave me a hard time, but also, he was my energy drink provider. So I'm going to miss him bringing me my Monsters and C4s and almost giving me a heart attack every day. But, I know Bryce is going to be successful in whatever he chooses to do. And he's always welcome coming back in the room and, stand there and drink his energy drinks, laughing at everyone cutting weight. So congratulations to Bryce, and thank you for 4 years.